What's going on, everybody? Tarkov Gamer Guys back again. More Escape from Tarkov action. A third video for today. The second one covering some stuff we saw on the Tarkov TV live podcast today. Video, Twitter, whatever. I keep calling it a podcast. I'm sorry, but I digress. Let's talk about Arena. We got a brand new little teaser trailer. I'm going to pop that up, take a look at it, and then I'm going to walk through just some of the things we saw in addition to some of the screenshots that got showed off for some of the new arenas that are coming that we now have a peek at, and I am super duper excited. So if you're interested in Escape from Tarkov arena content and the latest and greatest news, stick around. We're going to jump into it. Let's get to the trailer. All right, so we got it up. Hopefully you are excited for what we got to see. There is a ton, an absolute ton in this trailer that I just want to talk about. Spend a few minutes walking through some things that I saw. Hopefully a quick breakdown will also show some things that you might have picked up as we go through here. So a couple of interesting things right up front here. We have 5 arenas now. Air Pit, which we have seen this one before. Sawmill, Equator, Bowl, and Bay 5. A few of these Sawmill and Bowl, I feel like, as well as maybe Equator or Bay 5. Some of these are new. We've gotten some new screenshots. Nikita in the Tarkov TV podcast talked about how some of these were throwbacks to the contract wars and kind of how things got started. So that's really cool. They obviously have a ton of elements that we're familiar with from Escape from Tarkov, so that's really neat. But I am really liking what I'm seeing from the locations now. When we get to actually being able to play these, that might be a different story. So we'll see what ends up happening, but this is really cool. A couple other things to note, if you can see my cursor up here, we've also see ranked being clicked here as the playlist. We see rules of team fight, and then obviously the location. So that just goes to show there's going to be ranked and unranked, which I think is pretty well clear. We've known that for a little while, but also there's probably going to be different sets of rules in terms of what we go in against. You can also see that there's team fight and shootout here, 1v1, 2v2, 3v3, and then obviously a team fight in 5v5. So this is pretty neat. We get a little bit of look at some of that. It also shows, and interestingly enough, it shows what's available and what's not available in terms of rule set for each of these maps, with Sawmill not having the shootout. Now that may just be a graphical thing or whatever the case may be, but if we're to believe what we're seeing here, there's some different stuff there, which is pretty neat. So I want to keep scrolling through. Now this is probably another really important one that I want to spend some time on talking about, which is the loadout screen, and we get a ton of information here that's really cool. There is obviously a money value associated with each of these builds, and there is a long scroll screen for this. I would imagine at least 2 more like rows of these to take a look at. The interesting thing is it is a full loadout based on different types of weapons as well as different types of armor and helmets and ears. Actually, I don't know if I actually see headsets on any of these guys, which is kind of an interesting note that I just picked up on. But you've got Aggressor, Squall, Hotel. You've got different basically different roles as well: Assault, CQB, Scout, Marksman, and then you can have a favorites one too. So if you really enjoy like a specific one of these and have a chance once we've played through it a little bit to look at that, you can favorite a few of them. It looks like you can go over. It also has a collection tab, which is kind of interesting to see what's going to become available here. Maybe once you complete challenges or get to a certain rank level, you unlock certain either cosmetic or actual different presets here to go through that. So that's really cool. We get to see, I really like this UI design where you basically just go over it, you click the little eye here, and it's going to tell you what you have. Another interesting thing. Now, it obviously has 13 additional items, so I hope there's an opportunity to like break this out fuller and see the whole thing. But it tells you what kind of ammo you're running and how many rounds of each that you have. So it's not going to be, in the traditional sense, it's not going to be where you're going to have unlimited ammo in this round. You're also going to have to manage ammo through the round and probably per life or whatever the case is there to be able to go through that. But you can see the weapon, the primary, and any secondary it looks like that you have, kind of the loadout, what it's got, what sight and optic it has on it. How heavy you are is also really interesting, so definitely that's going to play a role in this, it looks like, which I think some folks, including myself, were kind of hoping it's at least downscaled a little bit. But it would be important if you're a bigger assault style, you have a heavier armor on with an Ash 12 with a bunch of mags loaded up, you kind of should be a little bit slower, a little less ergonomic, if you will, a la Escape from Tarkov. So that's pretty neat. You can see, we get to see, I think, a quick look at a scout, which is kind of an interesting, looks like mostly SMG or close range. You got a shotgun guy here. This is an M4. This is an AUG. That's a Vector, MP7. So you got some interesting different loadouts here. Some of them look like they don't even have armor. Like this guy doesn't have armor. That's an Untar. This is the blue class 3. This looks like one of the like Bird Eye, or not Bird Eye, one of Big Pipe or Knight's armor. You got a TV here, USEC armor there, the MMAC. So this is pretty interesting that it's going to vary so much, not only from look, cosmetic look, which I think is really cool, but obviously, again, it's going to be about armor, helmet, selection. These guys do have ears, which is really interesting. So prior to my previous comment, these guys have ears on, unlike the assault classes, which, again, I didn't see any with ears on. All helmets. This guy, no, he just has the side caps on the exfil helmet. Most of these don't even get, a lot of these helmets don't even get, which is really interesting because I'm wondering if they're going to play with armor values and ammo at all to better balance this, right? Like, can this guy take a couple of forehead noggin shots wearing a Corund as well? So he's pretty up armored, which is really, really interesting. So that's really cool. And then we get to see a little bit of the marksman class. I really like the boonie and the mustache. That is really cool. You got that crazy, head scarf thing. You got like the premier like scav float out here. I'm sure the values for a lot of these things will change. Obviously, it seems like the better the weapon, but you get some really varied range of optics here. You got a Voodoo, you got a Razor. This looks like a PM1 or 2. PSO right here. This is really cool, guys. I'm super excited. You got SVD here. Again, you get to see the weight, SVD with an RSH, the ammo, how much you're rocking. Again, the additional items. We see some med animations through this, so I'm sure I would guess that mostly everybody is loaded out with some type of bandage and, AFAC, IFAC, Salewa type setup, which is pretty cool. And then once you select it, it's pretty cool. You get to see the full loadout here pop up, armor, and kind of the whole drip that we got going on. And then obviously we start getting in here, and this is pretty neat again. So the quality is not going to be great because I'm scanning through here, but this is, I think they said sawmill. What's also kind of neat, and my cursor's going to screw it up because I'm hovering over, but if you see right here, it's also going to have some additional UI elements that would be akin more to a FPS shooter, right? You're getting who's getting killed by, which is really interesting. I think that's definitely needed. There's some of our healing animations. I'm curious to see if this is going to be different at all. I feel like the pace of the game will suffer if you have to go specific body parts. So maybe it's more about total health. Tarkov TV Nikita did talk about how there's going to be some hotkeys for actually healing specific body parts. So maybe we see that for Arena. That could be one way to solve that problem. A more holistic look at health would be interesting. Here looks like a kill cam. I'm going to try to get my cursor off of this. Here looks like a kill cam-esque setup. It shows at the bottom, and a couple of my controls are getting in the way here, but it shows at the bottom basically your team, blue team, who's dead, who's alive. This is obviously a recording, so this is an idea, And so this has got to be a post game or last kill type kill cam. You see your body health screen, your heartbeat. Obviously, we're familiar if you play Tarkov at all with what this looks like. The time that's left. This is all pretty dang cool. I really like that. I think it's a clean look at the UI for this and a way to look at that. And then look at that guy getting smoked, and then he gets smoked. Actually, he doesn't get smoked right after. That's really cool. Couple of deaths. So here's the death screen here. Again, if I can, it's not going to be great. You can see it down here though. Basically, you know how you got killed, by what body part, how much damage to you he did. 2 hits, you know, you got smoked in the head, and by who killed you, which is, again, this is really clean. I like the look of this. I think that's pretty neat. Here's a couple of screens looking at some of the different guns. Some of the loadouts are pretty interesting here as we take a look at it. Grenades is another thing I didn't really think about, but having some of the utility is going to be important. Again, this is interesting because I wonder if this is going to be a full recording for you to be able to go watch back your whole play session. It looks like that might be the case because you're getting it while you're getting it live, or this might be, again, you spectating a teammate. That's other probably very likely situation here. Really, really cool. I'm very excited about this, like really, really excited. I think I captured maybe some of the additional. So here's the screens. So a lot of information. I feel like a lot of things we can pull from there. We get a good idea to kind of start feeling out how the game is going to flow and what's included in that, which is pretty dang neat. And I just realized the thing I was highlighting is the thing that my cam is over the bottom right-hand part of the screen where you probably couldn't see what I was talking about. So apologies for that, but you saw it in the trailer, so hopefully I did justice to that. So here's a couple of the different screenshots. These are all looking really cool. I think it's interesting that we're going to see some indoor and some outdoor environments. Kind of starting to get a feel for how big some of these are. Again, I like some of the elements here from the current game. Obviously, we see a lot of the same used textures and objects and things like that, which we would expect. But this map design is pretty interesting. What I like is there's going to be some verticality. I think we've seen that in quite a few of the different maps and all the trailers and different things that we've seen. This is Bay 5, the map that we were looking at. But it looks like you're going to be able to get up, you know, second story here, get up onto the container, get up on this container. With the new vaulting and kind of climbing animations, we might be able to get on top of some of these things for some different angles, which is really cool. I just hope all that stuff is pretty fast. And let's see what else we got here. Oh, this is still Bay 5. Pretty interesting Bay 5. The maps feel like they're going to be pretty decently big to be able to move around. We've seen this map quite a bit before, but it definitely looks like it's gotten some changes and some improvements. This one's pretty easy to recall because it has, again, the spectator piece, which I think that part is really, really neat. It's going to be interesting to see how and what they apply to each of these surfaces in terms of bullet penetration and what can go through, right? Like this looks like cover, but if you're standing up here, can I just pen through this wood and smoke you like I could in the real game? That would be really interesting. We get a couple more screenshots of maybe the load up or the starting area. This right here is Sawmill. This one looks really interesting. Kind of has that a lighthouse woods vibe. Both kind of sections to it is really kind of neat. I definitely get both vibes for that, for this map specifically. Again, this one looks more interesting with a little bit more verticality, but not a ton. That's, I think, one thing that's important is you got to have a little bit of it, but not too much to make it interesting without having to constantly be checking up and down, left and right, all over the place. I think a la Valorant and things like that to make that look really good. This map looks really cool, really, really cool. And then we have definitely seen this map as well with the air pit and the plane in the middle. A lot of Call of Duty vibes from this one. But unique, because again, we're getting some inside. We get to the burger spot here, which is on air pit. So this one, again, these maps actually look pretty decently big. So that's what I have. that's what I have. That's what I wanted to talk about, dive into a little bit on this. Let me know if there is anything else you have seen. I'll just close out with Nikita made a mention that this was still quite some months away, 6 to 8 months, I feel like he said, before we see this. I think that's one of the big questions. He did talk about doing another Tarkov TV show when they get closer to this, which I'm really excited about, as well as some additional features for Escape from Tarkov. So if you're checking this video out, I'll also ask you to go check out, we did a full breakdown outside of the arena information on the Tarkov TV. So if you want to kind of get a quick rundown on what was in there, some important and huge changes, really good stuff. I'm super excited about. I strongly recommend go take a look at that. I would appreciate it. Help me out. In addition to that, I'm gonna flash some socials, like, comment, subscribe, do all that good stuff for the YouTube algorithm for me. Thank you so much. Come check us out live if you're watching this. We're probably gonna be playing Tarkov tonight, going through as we continue our Kappa run and streaming. That link again is in the description over on Twitch, and very much would welcome you to come by and let's chat Tarkov TV and the updates and changes and all the different stuff that's going on. Absolutely crazy. So I'd appreciate that. Thank you so much. I've been Doc. We are the Average Gamer guys. As always, thanks for watching, and we'll catch you in the next Escape from Tarkov video. Peace.